This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna. Super excited to be talking to Layne today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about it.
Of course. So let's talk all things Layne, right? So who are you? Where are you from? How did you find yourself in real estate?
So my name is Layne Britton, of course, and I live here in Victoria, British Columbia, which is on the west coast of Canada. It's on the island, and Victoria is the southern point of the island. It's actually the biggest center on the island. I spent all my life in sales. So even when I was younger, in the snowboard industry, I got into customer relationships and ended up being a sales rep. And then I went into the car business. And I spent 16 years in the car business and did the last 10 of those in luxury car sales and running the dealership. And, then I had a family and, I just kept finding that the pressure of having to be at one place at one time all the time for many, many hours a day was really almost too hard. I just felt like I was missing out too much. And the pressure, of course, from the car business was just getting more and more. And I made a choice one day and I haven't looked back. And I just love doing real estate.
Absolutely. And Layne, what or how introduced you to EXP, right? So obviously maybe it wasn't your first brokerage, or was it? How did that come along to be?
Yeah, no, the first brokerage that I went to was Remax, and I was with Remax for just over 5 years. I was absolutely diehard, red over white over blue. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. Went to every conference. I was, networking. Really tried to make a lot of relationships in the office. I really, really just felt that the brand was so much. And one of my mentors, Jason Simard, who I don't know if you ever talked to him or not.
I feel like I just had him. Let me look. Jason. Yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, he's from the Sims group. He was with Remax as well. Came in right at the same time. He was very big in instrumenting, process, procedures, and he really just did so well. And me and him always kind of connected on a different level. And he never, ever pushed it on me. Even when he went to it, I was so surprised. I was like, oh my God, you hear all these things about EXP and it's, you got to work, you're a recruiter and you got to do this. And if you don't get that, and, if the shares aren't real and all this. And I really believed in a lot of that. And then as I was doing some coaching with Jason and everything, I was really looking at kind of how I could change my business. And one of the things that me and Jason really connected on was the fact that, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Okay. So I own several businesses in town. I own a land development company. I own a marketing company, which is also a sign and media company. I've really been involved with a lot of other things, and I never saw real estate as just being a job. I didn't go and take a course to give myself a job. I wanted to learn the craft. I wanted to learn the business, and I wanted to be able to expand from there and be an owner, be something that I really wanted. And when I went down that road of ownership of a brokerage, I looked at a lot of different stuff. Berkshire Hathaway was one that I became very close with, but the traditional model just kept, rearing its head. And, it's, wow, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of this, free fees and franchise rights and expectations of what that franchise wants. And, then, reluctantly, we literally dissected the EXP platform. And once we did, there was just no other choice. Like it just literally was like, well, of course we're going to do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the one of the funny things is that my assistant, who's been super vital to my business, you know, she was so dead set against EXP.
Right.
So dead against. Like was like, I'm not gonna be your assistant if you go down that road. I said, come on, you know, like we can't do it unless we actually like research it. And she is like a research, like just insane. Like she's literally like, she was finding that way, that reason why we were not going to go that route. And the funny thing is at the end of the day, she's like, I think this is the way we got to go. And you know what? And I haven't looked back. You know, last year was our first year, so June was my 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Literally paid zero fees. Like I made, you know, and I have never done any outward recruiting. You know, I've only ever had people that ask me like, hey, why did you go? Like you were successful at Remax. You really were the Remax guy. We always knew you as the Remax guy. Why would you go? And, you know, I just have conversations, real truthful conversations, because out of the platform, I'll tell you, I love about 95% of it. You know, there's always that little bit that, you know, you kind of go, you know, but at the same time, you know, I give people the pros and the cons and they've made their own decisions.
Yeah.
And my business has skyrocketed, you know, believing more in putting more into my own personal brand made it much more recognizable as me, the person that they were dealing with and talking to and wanting to do business with, versus, well, you need Remax because Remax is the number one and that's why people are going to call you.
Right. But nobody really cares about the brokerage, honestly. Like before I was in real estate school, I didn't even know what a brokerage was. I thought it like was a bank. Right? Like nobody cares. Nobody knows what a brokerage is because, you know, that's just kind of where real estate agents hang their license. They don't buy from their brokerage, they buy from you. They want that relationship. And so I think that's awesome that you had an assistant that was skeptical of it and did her research. And here you are, 1 year in and an icon agent, which is incredible, Layne. And before we dive into that, let's talk about, you know, what are some of your favorite things about EXP, right? So you're over here and you know that there's agent attraction, so thus rev share, collaboration, stock options. So what is something that maybe you didn't expect about EXP that now you really enjoy about the organization?
Yeah, and I guess I got to go back a little ways because, you know, Jason was really good about kind of, you know, explaining and getting me the information that I really needed to see in regards to some of the other stuff that's the bonuses, really. Like, and those are, and I look at it the same way. And when I'm talking to somebody about EXP, I say, look at, you know, like let's just look at it as a brokerage. And when you break it down as a brokerage, you know, it's pretty tough to beat, right? And then you start looking at the bonus stuff. Okay. I never thought I would be making any sort of passive income by explaining what a brokerage does. You know, at my old brokerage, you know, you got $1,000 if you brought somebody into the brokerage one time.
Right.
You know, I paid fees for years, very high fees for years, and I owned nothing. Those just went. The biggest thing about EXP that I love, okay, is that I have branded myself and my team in a way that I was never able to before. I always had to adopt myself to a brand and to a brand standard and a brand recognition. I was just part of that.
Yeah.
Now I am me. I can actually express everything out. I've got incredible marketing stuff. I love it. I mean, it's very unique to us. It's a lot of fun. You know, people recognize it everywhere. We do different things with, you know, the way that we wrap our signposts and everything else. And it's very consistent branding. And it's me. You know, it's me and my team. And that's what I love about it. And that's one of the things that I really would say to anybody that's going into EXP is that, you know, when you go out on a listing presentation or you meet that buyer for the first time, pretty unlikely that they came to you because of the brand. You probably had somebody recommend you, somebody noticed you, but when you sit down in front of a buyer or a seller, you're selling yourself, right? Yes, you could say, hey, you know what? With Remax, I can put it out there all over the world. We have the most amount of agents, we have the most amount of countries, the most amount of brokerages. Well, what does that mean in your local market?
Yeah.
Some people may shift on that. Here in Victoria, we have a lot of very popular brands, you know what I mean, where people are really attracted. Some of my friends own the Coldwell Banker. Coldwell Banker was not very noticeable here before. They're great people, and they've really built it up. And it's a wonderful brand. It's very recognizable here on the island and in Victoria especially. They've gained tons of agents, but they're still nowhere close to the amount of agents that we're gaining all the time here with EXP.
Yeah, it just sailed past 83,000 agents, they said?
Yeah.
Crazy. It's awesome though. And Layne, before we dive into all things about your icon status and how you got there, tell me a little bit about what you do to maintain a work-life balance, right? How do you draw the line between work and play in an industry that will swallow you whole if you let it?
Yeah, I went down that hole, unfortunately. So I work way too much, honestly. I did just get back from 5 days of time on the west coast of Vancouver Island in a place called Tofino. If you haven't looked it up, it's wonderful. It was literally very cold, though. It's very west coast. We went surfing. We camped out there. It was really quite wonderful. But in the terms of work-life balance, I did definitely have a better work-life balance before. But I went through a separation. I've got more time on my hands, and I didn't want to sit and dwell in anything. And I jumped in, both feet first, and I've been working really, really hard to get to a point where I can, have a little bit better of a work-life balance. Because I think work-life balance is something you actually do have to work for.
Yes.
It doesn't just come, okay? Like if you're if you have to make mortgage payments and school payments and taxes and everything else, like you need to work, right? So in our business, it's very easy to overwork, right? I try to work fairly smart, but I do have a lot of irons in the fire too, right? So not only am I overseeing my real estate company, I'm overseeing the land development side of things. I'm overseeing a marketing company as well. Dealing with people and managing people is actually one of the biggest challenges. It's very difficult. Most of like everybody on the team is awesome. I love it, but it does take up a lot of time. I do value the time with my daughter. I got a 10-year-old girl. We do a ton of stuff together. I really do try to prioritize that, and we do a lot of fun stuff together. But unfortunately, it's still one of those things. We're stuck on our phones all the time.
Right.
Work is always there, and luckily enough, we can do some of that. I've got an assistant that I leverage a lot. I have 2 inside sales agents that I leverage a lot. And I have a great group of people around me, which I leverage a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you are talking about leveraging, right? Because, if there's stuff that's all on your plate and, you struggle to get it done, or you're not able to focus on as much, revenue generating things, that adds up in a business significantly. And that entrepreneurial mindset, you're leveraging and you're using, you're spending money to make money. And that to me makes sense. You have to. And that's a hill I will die on. So Layne, let's talk production, right? So in your market, what's that average housing price look like, and about how many houses do you have to sell to cap?
So our market here in Victoria, because again, you got to understand, Vancouver Island is about the size of California, but we have about 800,000 people, just over 800,000 people that live here totally for the entire island. Here in Victoria, we're about 500,000, maybe a bit more than that. Our average home price here hovers around $1 million Canadian.
Okay, wow.
So we are in a pretty desirable place. We have properties that go up into the tens of millions of dollars, and then we have houses that our lowest house price right now is probably around 800,000. 700,000 to 800,000 if you can find the 700,000. So it doesn't take much to cap here. Our commissions work a little bit different here too than a lot of different areas. So here we have a pretty big range. Like we have 1% realty, which, you know, they do the 1% or the $3,500 flats, all the way up to, you know, 4% flats, you know,
Sure.
stuff like that. Generally, it's 6% on the first 100,000, 3% on the remainder. I often am working in that 7 and 4%. So it doesn't take a lot to hit the 80,000. So roughly about, you know, anywhere from 4 to 10 deals, you know, and you're capped out. One of the things for me though is that because I share a lot with the team, I take percentages, and of course, you know, with cap and icon, the percentage of that is the percentage that you goes towards your icon.
Yeah.
But you know, if you look at June, you know, by the time that I hit the mid June, I was capped out. So June 1st to the 15th, 15 days, and I had capped. So my 16,000 was there, 80,000 in commissions. So it's not a hard market to achieve that in. And you know, even if you were just an agent that was doing $80,000 to $100,000 in GCI, you'd be looking at you know, still some of the lowest that you're going to see fees and costs out of any brokerage that's currently here in Victoria.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great you know, gauge for your market, Layne. That's why I like to ask that question. And beyond just commission and production and selling homes, you also have to take a step back and give back to EXP, right? You've got that cultural commitment. So what route do you take for that and why?
So I haven't decided yet. I'm having a struggle with that. So I've kind of left that one up to my assistant to help me on. Again, you know, she's like extremely important in my business, and we're going to choose one that does fit into my schedule. They're all really great though. Like, I mean, I love giving back. I give back all the time. I help anybody. Doesn't matter if they're in my group or not. I'm always happy to help. I've really educated myself deeply in real estate as well as home construction, stratas, bylaws, things like that. So I'm always happy to help. So I'm really looking forward to the cultural aspect of EXP, and I really do admire that part about EXP.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's what really you know, kind of boosts morale and really supports the culture and the community that EXP has, which is to you know, have the best of the best step back and give back and teach and step away from production. And I think it's just been an incredible you know, requirement that they've made for the Icon Award. So Layne, you know, the Icon Award has a lot of benefits, right? So it's easy to catch referrals because you're, you know, you've got that status. So they know you can get the work done. They know you've got an awesome reputation. And then you get that cap back in stock, opportunity to go to EXP Con and shareholders and a big glass shiny trophy. So what's your why? Why do you want to keep iconing? What's your favorite benefit? Why do you keep putting that on your list of goals?
You know what? The icon is actually literally, it's just part of the process. You know, to me, I set ridiculous goals for myself every year, and I'm one of those people that, you know, like if I didn't hit my goal, I worked right to that very last day to get to that goal. So icon is literally just a portion of this. You know, my business would have iconed even if before, you know, so this was all a big bonus. And that's where I keep telling people, you know, there's so many bonuses that you get in this company. So icon is very important to me, mainly because I do want to give back. You know, it helps me have the opportunity not to look at every buyer and seller as a paycheck. So it lets me step back and to help the people that are in our group or anybody else that's looking for some help or has any questions or wants to have the help. It does allow me to be able to say, okay, you know what? I don't need to be on this phone right now. I can spend the time with you, right? So icon is very important with that. I do really love the fact that, you know, it's building stock option. And, you know, I couldn't have iconed at a better time because the stock was way down, you know what I mean? And you know, when I first got into EXP, I think the stock was like $53. And when I got paid out, it was like 13 or 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously I hit it. Great. I'm like, awesome. And, it's the long run, just like any investment that I have. I don't look at it every day going, oh my God, or else I'd go crazy, but it's wonderful to get that back in stocks. The stocks, like I explained to people, they sit there for 3 years, but all the other stock that I contribute, because I actually purchase stock on every single commission. I opted into the 5%, and I do every single time that I have a sale and a transaction, no matter what, it goes into stock option.
Awesome.
And that's building for my future and my retirement, which I never had with anything else.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right, Layne. And talk about, we talked a little bit about agent attraction and now the stock options. And that's 3 streams of income, which is really cool to, not really offered in any other industry or brokerage, really, most of the time. So, Layne, I think that's awesome. That's a great why. And then for people that, are coming to you and they say, "Hey, Layne, this is my first year with EXP," whether they're rookies or they've been in the game for a while, and they're like, "How do I icon in my first year? Is that going to be possible for me?" What kind of conversation are you going to have with this person or whoever's listening about it? What's some advice? Because you iconed in your first year over here, or what are some major mistakes to avoid?
Yeah, and so here's where I actually learned a lot. Like, I mean, because when you hear about EXP, you kind of pick out the things that you want to hear, and you kind of let the other stuff kind of go away, and then, oh yeah, it's only going to take 20 deals, it's only going to take this, whatever. But what you don't realize is that if you are if you're co-listing or if you're sharing a deal or anything else like that, like I have some splits on my team where it's 75 25, where I get 25, they get 75. I got other deals where I get 50% or 60 or 70%. There's a whole different structure. So it actually took me a lot longer to icon than what I actually originally expected.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the true process was. So now I really just make sure that when people are asking about that in particular, which again, when I'm talking to agents, I'm talking to new people about EXP, I focus on the brokerage first.
Yeah.
Why the brokerage is what it is. This stuff is all great. This stuff is great if you do and you perform and you get to that level, you're going to get some serious rewards, right? And this is a company that's happy to reward you for that. So my advice to new EXP agents that are looking to icon is literally just do the things that you got to do. You need to prospect. You need to have accountability. You need to be following up with people. You've got to get the right systems and the processes in place. And when you do, you'll really see that, it does change your business and your mindset. Jason will always say you're consciously unconscious, right? So you're doing the things, but you're not really paying attention to what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So getting some sort of, process, systems, even coaching, highly recommend to everybody to get coaching, because these are the people that are going to hold you accountable for the things that you're supposed to be doing in a business where it's very easy to forget what you're supposed to be doing.
That's right. Awesome, Layne. That's awesome advice. Hold yourself accountable and lean into those mentors and coaches around you because they're there to help. And we have that kind of community here at EXP. Everybody wants to see you succeed. And Layne, were you ever skeptical when you were introduced to EXP or just the assistant?
Oh no, I didn't do it for 3 years. It took 3 years for me to come around. And even when we were actually like involved with trying to look at what this platform does, there was always like, well, what's the catch? What's the catch? What's the catch? And that's one of the things that I think that are still, like, even with people that I'm meeting right now. Again, too, I got to really tell you that, I don't focus a lot on agent attraction. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to, but at this point, I wanted to be able to bring some value to the table to people when they came into our group or looked at having me sponsor them into the group or somebody in our group to sponsor them. So educating people on EXP is something I love to do. I love to tell people what the great features are. I love to tell people all the negative stuff too. There is some negative things about it, but at the same time, when you really, find out what it is, again, it's a no-brainer.
Right. Absolutely. Well, then, Layne, as saying on the topic that it's a no-brainer to make the move over here, for somebody that may be watching right now and they're skeptical of EXP and they're out here doing, their research by watching your podcast, what would you have to say to them to get them to go ahead and make the move? I mean, there's stock sitting on the table just waiting for them, and they're leaving money on the table at their brokerage they're currently at. How would you nip them on the butt to get on over here to EXP?
I think that people really just need to make their own choices. I think that people that get pressured into stuff don't make the right choices. So
Sure.
I don't really ever pressure anybody or tell them they should do it or shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I always think about for myself is that, Tony Robbins is a big influence when it comes to how fear drives your life. Okay.
Yeah.
We're so scared of change. We're so scared. I've been at the brokerage for so long. I like the guy. I like this. You know what? Great.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? If you're running a business, you got to look at how you run a business.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would tell any agent that's coming into this is stop thinking about it as a job. Think about it as your business. And your business has a bottom line. And what does that bottom line look like? And when you are paying $24,000, $28,000, $30,000 a year in fees to a brokerage that gives you nothing back, and your training's not great, and there's not a good feel or whatever, and great people, awesome. I love all the people that I used to work with, still have relationships with most of them. But the bottom line was that I wanted to make something else happen, and it wasn't working. And I had to take the move. And fear is the one thing that I find with everybody that I talk to. It's, I just don't know if it's right. Maybe I'll wait till January 1st. What?
Sure.
If you're going to do it and you like it, and you understand that it makes sense, then only fear is holding you back. And when you're over that fear, we'll help you go through the contract. Absolutely.
That you're so right, Layne. And if you guys have questions about EXP, ask. Go straight to the source. Ask Layne. See what his reservations were for making the move and why he finally did, and if he's happy with it. I mean, clearly he is. He's an icon agent. It's killing the game over here. And what better way to find out than go straight to the source, right? And Layne, we're coming up just under 30 minutes here. Those are all the questions I have for you. Are you going to be at EXPCon?
Yeah, I really wanted to be in Orlando, but of course, here in Canada, we got a big passport problem. So I didn't get my passport renewed in time, so I didn't get to get there. But I absolutely will be. With my former brokerage, I went to all the conferences, and I love making those connections and meeting people and learning and just experiencing it. I've learned and had so much. Like in the car business, it was hilarious. And I'll just wrap it up with this. In the car business, everybody was out to get you, like literally. You had a customer, you're off, that guy gets the guy, he makes a deal, he keeps the money.
Right.
In real estate, I found that this is actually one of the places and one of the few places in sales where people actually give you their time. They'll give you the time, they'll give you the knowledge, and it's all there as long as you want it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help anybody anytime.
That's awesome. Well, Layne, thank you so much. Definitely make sure to reach out to him if you guys have questions. Great attitude, Layne. I look forward to seeing you IRL in Las Vegas.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Layne. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.